in the glittering chaos of the reception. She stood out effortlessly, her laughter slicing through the murmurs like a knife through silk. The grand hall buzzed with over 40 guests, each unsure where to settle their gaze. I stood nearby, playing my part as her husband, her hand barely brushing my arm while she swirled a glass of vintage DR-25, a rare gift I had once given her. Yet she hardly sipped. Her focus was elsewhere, waving brightly to her colleagues, her boss, her circle of the elite, the very world she had worked so hard to penetrate. "This is Daniel," she announced, her smile rigid and overly rehearsed. My slightly odd cousin. Polite laughter rippled through the crowd. I didn't join them. At that moment, Richard Hale, her superior, froze mid-sip. His glass caught the chandelier's glow as his expression shifted, his throat tightening in a silent gasp. His wide-eyed stare locked on me, panic flickering beneath the surface. The ripple spread as glances shifted across the room. Faces turned toward me, then toward her. They recognized the name. Daniel Ashcroft wasn't just any man, not to the seasoned power brokers, not to the ones who moved silently behind the city's polished facade. The young interns, the junior associates. They were clueless, but the true players knew exactly who stood before them. And now, they realized the lie she had woven. Let me take you back to how we reached this point. I first met Elise during law school, second semester of our first year, back when trust was easy to give and ambition hadn't yet sharpened its fangs. She shone with fierce determination and an intellect that could disarm anyone. I was drawn to her, but I concealed my full identity, not out of deception, but to ensure her affection wasn't tied to my wealth. After we passed the bar, we married in a simple civil ceremony. Her smile trembled with joy, and for a time, I believe I'd found a true partner, my equal. But women like Elise don't pause once they taste opportunity. They keep climbing. The first crack appeared during a conference in Chicago. She introduced me simply as Dan, no last name, no context. I brushed it aside, thinking she wished to carve her own path free of my influence. But small inconsistencies followed. Secret accounts, concealed phones, unexplained absences, and unfamiliar perfumes clinging to her scarves. I tried to rationalize it at first. I didn't want to believe what was unfolding before me. But denial only stretches so far before reality cuts through. A colleague mistakenly called her Elise Carter one evening. When I asked her, she met my eyes with unnerving calm. "I don't want anyone judging me by your name," she said. The truth hit harder than any affair could have. She married me for access, not love. She had crafted a parallel existence, using my resources to ascend while severing me from her public narrative. To her colleagues, I didn't exist. She was rising, and I was to be discarded once my purpose was fulfilled. I didn't erupt. I didn't confront her in rage. Instead, I gathered evidence. Every transaction, every hidden meeting, every whispered conversation. My private investigators were thorough. Every secret rendezvous was recorded, every text message preserved. While she thought she was building her empire, I was quietly dismantling it. I restructured our assets, transferring properties from shared trusts into holdings solely under my control. She never noticed. By the time she would, everything would already be secured. Then came the leverage. Richard Hale, her boss, had once been under my father's legal counsel during a particularly dangerous audit. We'd buried those financial skeletons deep. Over a quiet drink, I revealed everything. Elisa's lies, her affairs, her manipulation of the firm. Hale's laughter was brittle, tinged with dread. He knew the consequences that loomed. Finally, the gala arrived, the culmination of her careful climb. She begged me to stay invisible, to let her shine alone. I agreed, slipping into the role she assigned me. Her harmless cousin. My custom-tailored suit concealed the dagger I had patiently sharpened. I let her diminish me just long enough. When I introduced myself fully as Daniel Ashcroft, the atmosphere shifted instantly. Hale's drink halted midair. The room stiffened. My name wasn't just a name. It was a silent storm of reputation, history, and buried secrets. Hale swiftly stepped away from Elise without a word. Others followed, distancing themselves as the truth dawned upon them. By the middle of the following week, the lease was quietly suspended pending internal investigation. By the weekend, security escorted her from the building, her possessions hastily packed into a cardboard box. Her calls to human resources were ignored. Hale severed all ties. She returned to our penthouse, but the locks had already been changed. The properties were sold. The accounts closed. Every asset she once counted on now beyond her reach, all done within the limits of my legal rights. Her affair partner vanished quickly once her power and title evaporated. Weeks later, she appeared at my office, stripped of her usual confidence. No makeup, no ring, her once flawless composure now fractured. "I made mistakes," she whispered. "You didn't make mistakes. I corrected. You executed a plan. So, did I. The difference is I succeeded." She asked if I ever truly loved her. I did. I admitted. But love doesn't blind you, it sharpens you. Love taught me patience. And patience reveals betrayal far more clearly than rage ever could. I walked her to the elevator and watched the doors close, sealing her fate. The realization washed over her. I had never been the quiet fool she believed. I was simply waiting. I hold no regret. Not for my silence. Not for my calm. Justice doesn't shout. It cuts like ice, sharp, deliberate, and devastatingly precise.